Good evening to our viewers watching on television and those joining us online across our social media platforms. I am Adana Dork with the Thursday, February 12th edition of the Guyana TV9 News. In the headlines tonight, unbothered, President Ali brushes aside reports of waning party support. Schuman blasts WIN party for social media politics and personal attacks. University of Guyana triples enrollment capacity through hybrid expansion. Soko releases pre-raid video showing illegal cambio at Mohammed's enterprise. Essequibo woman acquitted in partner's death. And young brilliance takes center stage at Children's Mashramani 2026 competition. Now for the news in depth. The Special Organized Crime Unit Soko has released video and audio footage showing illegal currency exchange at Mohammed's enterprise moments before a raid on Wednesday. The footage, which features a transaction involving U.S. currency, directly contradicts claims by businessman and opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed that the Lambert Street establishment had been closed since its cambio license was revoked in 2024 following U.S. sanctions. Here is more.
According to the agency, the footage captures what appears to be a transaction involving United States currency inside the Lambert Street premises. Investigators contend the recording directly contradicts public statements made by businessman and opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed, who has maintained that his establishment has been closed since its cambio license was revoked in 2024 following U.S. sanctions. In a statement, Soko said Mohammed's enterprise does not hold a valid license to operate a cambio and that the activity observed in the footage was unlawful. The agency noted that the video forms part of the evidentiary basis for Wednesday's enforcement action. Azruddin Mohammed had previously dismissed allegations of illegal activity, arguing that earlier clips circulating publicly did not show any U.S. dollars transaction and insisting that no commercial operations were taking place at the building at the time. However, Soko says the newly disclosed material shows what investigators describe as a currency exchange in progress. The law enforcement body also rejected claims that the raid was politically motivated, emphasizing that the operation was evidence-driven and specifically related to suspected illegal cambio activity. The operation was conducted based on information and evidence gathered during the course of our investigation, the agency stated. According to the controversy, Soko revealed that some of the video recordings include footage of prior transactions. One clip reportedly shows a newspaper dated the day after the national budget presentation, which investigators say helped establish a timeline of activity at the location. Mohammed's enterprise came under scrutiny after its cambio license was revoked in 2024, following U.S. sanctions imposed on Azruddin Mohammed, his father Nazar Mohammed, and several associated businesses. Authorities have not indicated whether the sanctions directly influenced the current probe, but confirmed that the business was not authorized to conduct foreign exchange transactions at the time of the alleged activity. Soko says investigations are ongoing and further updates will be provided as the matter develops. Adana Dork, Guyana TV9 News.
President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali is dismissing claims of waning support for the People's Progressive Party Civic PPPC, labeling such suggestions as unfounded and out of touch with the party's national momentum. Speaking on the sidelines of a recent event, the head of state shrugged off the criticism, asserting that the party's enduring strength is built on a collective foundation rather than any single individual. Colwyn Abrams has the details.
Speaking with journalists on the sidelines of a recent engagement, the head of state pointed to the scale of the People's Progressive Party Civic's fundraising efforts during the last general and regional elections as evidence of its grassroots support. According to the president, those events were attended by ordinary Guyanese from across the country, underscoring what he described as the party's wide and diverse base. The president maintained that the PPC enjoys support across the country and said the magnitude of participation at campaign events demonstrated continued public confidence in the governing party. The PPPC secured a victory in the March 2020 general and regional elections after a protracted 5-month electoral impasse. Since returning to office, the administration has repeatedly maintained that its mandate is rooted in broad-based support and a commitment to inclusive development. The party also recorded a win in the 2023 local government elections, further consolidating its political position.
The People's Progressive Party as not impactful by any individual or settlement. We have support across this country. If you look at the last elections, you will see the magnitude of our fundraisers. And who came to those fundraisers? Ordinary people.
President Ali also addressed questions about long-promised constitutional and legislative reforms, including campaign finance laws and changes to the electoral system. He confirmed that the process of constitutional reform is ongoing and signaled his intention to accelerate consultations so that substantive changes can be implemented. The president emphasized that any reforms to campaign financing or electoral laws must be grounded in the Constitution.
Every law rests on Constitution, right? Every law rests on Constitution. But entire reform, all of the reform, started the reform of the election, election commission, the laws and so on, improving systems, accountability and so on. So all of these things I think really bother in that system.
The administration has previously committed to reviewing and modernizing the operations of the Ghana Elections Commission (GECOM), improving accountability mechanisms and strengthening systems governing elections. These promises form part of broader reform pledges made in the wake of the 2020 electoral crisis, which drew both local and international scrutiny over transparency and governance. President Ali suggested that reforms to GECOM and related systems are part of a comprehensive agenda aimed at strengthening democratic institutions. He maintained that consultation remains a central pillar of the process and reiterated his desire to move the reforms forward. As Ghana continues to experience rapid economic transformation driven by its oil and gas sector, governance reforms remain a key issue in the national political disclosure. The president's remarks signal that constitutional change remains on the administration's agenda as it responds to criticism from political figures and sections of the public. Colin Abrams, Ghana TV9 News.
PPPC Member of Parliament Lennox Schuman has launched a blistering critique against the We Invest in Nationhood WIN party, accusing the opposition group of abandoning parliamentary duties in favor of vile personal attacks and social media grandstanding. Speaking on the sidelines of the 2026 national budget estimates, Schuman condemned the conduct of WIN representatives and their leader, Azruddin Mohammed, who is currently under U.S. indictment.
The halls of Parliament are heating up, but not because of policy debates. MP Lennox Schuman is calling out the WIN party for being MIA during critical budget evaluations, while allegedly waging war on social media. During the ongoing consideration of the 2026 estimates, Schuman expressed flabbergasted disappointment at the absence of substantive engagement from the WIN party. He noted that despite claims of holding the government accountable, WIN's leader has been absent all week, leaving critical sectors, including Armenian affairs, without a single opposition question.
The second component is, we're in the evaluation of estimates now. And I am absolutely flabbergasted as to how these people got here. Not a single question from WIN, who claim that they're going to hold the government accountable. Their leader has not been here all week. We have heard zero, not a single question from him. When we were going through the allocation for Ministry of Armenian Affairs, not a single one was there to ask a question. So there are some significant deficiencies, and I find it very disappointing that they're not representing the things that they put forward to the people. Instead, what they choose to do is go to social media and attack people, right? Social media is not the stuff that happens in here. There's a difference, once again, between me being a Facebook or a social media politician and coming here and representing the people.
Schuman's defense turned personal as he slams misleading attacks directed at Minister Sarah Brown. He specifically addressed viral claims regarding her private property, calling such tactics completely off limits.
One of the things that really disturbs me is the way they have gone after Minister Sarah Brown. Minister Sarah Brown, her husband has worked for years building himself. So the house that she's living in right now, they've worked for that. She just came into the ministry. That's the reality. So how are you going to go after people's personal issues like that? And I know which team is doing it. One only needs to follow some of these things, follow some of the things happening in the news media and social media and stuff, and you will understand. But so far, I must say I'm very, very disappointed in the opposition that we have. They are not up to the task. They don't read the budget. They didn't read the budget. They don't know what's in there. but yet they're willing to go out in the public domain and say there's nothing here for this. It's just political grandstanding, and that's all we've seen.
Reaffirming his alliance with the PPPC government, Schuman praised the 2026 budget's focus on healthcare and education, arguing that the opposition is simply not up to task of reading the fine print. Adana Dorek, Guyana TV9 News.
Long before he was addressing global climate forums and forging international environmental partnership, President Irfan Ali was a boy walking barefoot along the Atlantic shoreline at 3 in the morning. During a recent podcast-style interview held on the sidelines of a climate and nature engagement, His Excellency shifted from policy discussion to deeply personal reflection on his upbringing. Colin Abrams has more.
As a child, President Ali said he'd enjoyed the beauty of untouched waterways and unpolluted canals where he swam and fished. His community depended heavily on what nature provided. Much of the food consumed was sourced directly from the land and water, and agriculture at the time was largely organic or close to it. He recalled accompanying his grandmother in the early hours of the morning to collect driftwood along the Atlantic shore. The wood washed down from the forests and carried by the sea was gathered to use as fuel for cooking. Today, President Ali leads a country that is approximately 85% forested and recognized globally for maintaining one of the lowest deforestation rates in the world. Guyana has positioned itself as a model for balancing environmental conservation with economic expansion. The country's low-carbon development strategy, first introduced in 2006 and expanded under the current administration as the Low-Carbon Development Strategy 2030, commits Guyana to pursuing growth while keeping its forests intact.
When we found oil, everybody thought we were going to abandon this trajectory. But we showed the world that we were going to double down on it. And when we came in office back in 2020, we created the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030, where we added biodiversity, we added marine life, but with the UK, with your leadership, together now we're working on scalable models to showcase how at a jurisdictional scale we can deploy our natural asset, in our case, the forest, to be a positive contributor to humanity, to economic growth, because you can have the greatest contributor to humanity, but if it does not make economic sense, if it does not contribute to the livelihood of people, if it does not contribute to the building of an economy or a country, then it's very difficult to justify.
Under the expanded Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030, Guyana has integrated biodiversity protection, marine conservation, and forest preservation into its broader economic agenda. The president emphasized that climate action must be economically viable, protecting forests and biodiversity. He said, must also create jobs, support communities, and contribute to national prosperity. Through carbon credit sales, sustainable forests, ecotourism, and forest-based products, Guyana is working to demonstrate that standing forests can become economic powerhouses.
We are going to show the world, and we have started that process of how the standing forest, the standing ecosystem, the standing biodiversity, in a world where 60% of the biodiversity has already been lost in the last 50, 60 years, we've kept ours intact. We want to demonstrate through this partnership how we would make this into an economic powerhouse, stimulating jobs, creating wealth, and developing a global product. We already have the low carbon traded on the international market. But it's important also, as you have said many times, for the private sector to be part of this. And the private sector must see the value of countries like ours and all those who are part of the SCLP.
President Ali called for a balanced global conservation on energy transition, arguing that climate solutions must align science, economics, and practical realities. He urged greater collaboration among governments, private sector investors, and international partners to finance scalable models that support both environmental sustainability and economic stability. Today, the boy who once gathered driftwood now co-chairs international forest alliances and works alongside global partners to safeguard biodiversity. Yet, his message remains rooted in lived experiences. Development must include people, and nature must remain part of that equation. from clay stoves and fresh-cut fish to carbon markets and biodiversity alliances. President Ali's journey mirrors Ghana's own transformation, proof he believes that a nation can create wealth, safeguard its environment, and expand opportunity without losing its connection to the land that raised it. Colin Abrams, Ghana TV9 News.
Rada Sukwa, 56, of Charity Housing Scheme Essequibo, has been found not guilty of manslaughter in the death of her partner, 73-year-old Dio Narayan, called Russian. The trial was heard before Justice Fidela Corbin Lincoln at the High Court in Saudi. At the close of the prosecution's case, the judge directed the jury to return a not guilty verdict, citing insufficient evidence. Dio Narayan was shot once in the abdomen in 2018 and later died at the charity hospital. Sukwa was formally discharged following the ruling. We will be back after this short break. Stay tuned.
Guyana, Mashramani time again, and the energy is high. The children's Mashramani costume and dance competition is taking over the National Cultural Center on February 12th and 13th. Bright costumes, big moves, and young stars on stage. Then the vibes hit the streets for the children's costume and wrote on February 14th, 2026. Pure color, culture, and excitement. Bring the kids, bring the crew, and bring the energy.
Guyana is a real nice place.
Want to place your death announcements and in memoriam messages on Channel 9? Call 592-761-5006, 710-5008, 600-5006. Or visit our office at Lot 85A Lamaha Street, Albertown, Georgetown, Century 21 Building.
Guyana, Channel 9 is now Guy TV9, proudly under new management. We're building stronger with a balanced and open platform for all advertisers. Whether you're promoting a business, service, or event, your message belongs right here. So choose your spot, news, prime time, or anytime, and reach viewers across Guyana. With affordable rates and professional service, Guy TV9 is your partner in progress. So visit us at Lot 21A, Lamaha Street, Georgetown, in the Century 21 building, or call 600-5006 or 761-5006. Guyana TV9. New leadership, fresh outlook, real results.
Guyana, Mashramani time again, and the energy is high. The children's Mashramani costume and dance competition is taking over the National Cultural Center on February 12th and 13th. Bright costumes, big moves, and young stars on stage. Then the vibes hit the streets for the children's costume and wrote on February 14th, 2026. Pure color, culture, and excitement. Bring the kids, bring the crew, and bring the energy.
Guyana is a real nice place.
Welcome back. You're watching the Guyana TV9 News Bulletin. The University of Guyana UG is rapidly expanding its hybrid learning model and regional footprint to accommodate a sharp rise in applications following the introduction of free tertiary education on January 1, 2025. During the February 2026 budget debates, Minister of Education Sonia Parag noted that while the Tarkhan campus has a physical capacity of about 5,000 students, the university now serves a population that has grown to approximately 15,000 students through a combination of in-person and virtual platforms.
Speaking during the consideration of the estimates and expenditure for Budget 2026 at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, Minister Parag told the Committee of Supply that since the Free University Initiative took effect in January 2025, applications to UG have climbed to more than 16,000. While the Charkain campus has a physical capacity of approximately 5,000 students, the minister emphasized that the institution now delivers programs through a blended system that combines face-to-face instruction with virtual learning and regional centers.
So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The honorable member would be aware that for some time now, the University of Guyana is not right. It's not only physical in person, it's also virtually. So when you're talking about capacity, you need to clarify what you're talking about, which one you're talking about.
In terms of being physically present on the campus. And if the
Fine.
university is moving in a direction, sir, into virtual platform, which is good.
So I'm really happy that you brought up this question, actually, because one, the capacity is about 5,000, and what we have seen since the removal of the fees, and that the government implemented the Free University initiative from January of 2025, there has been an increase in applications to the university, and as a over 16,000, and as a result of that, we have actually looked at creating seating in various regions. So,
addressing concerns about students' engagement in a hybrid system, Minister Parag assured the committee that Campus Live remains active. UG continues to host numerous student clubs, and all classes are required to meet at least once per semester to preserve in-person interaction. On academic staffing, she reported that the university maintains strong qualification standards. Roughly one-third of lecturers hold master's degrees, another one-third hold PhDs, and about 10% serve at the level of professor. Lecturers with only first degrees are no longer employed. Looking ahead, the minister revealed that a rapid assessment will be conducted to ensure that university training aligns with the skills demanded by Ghana's rapidly transforming economy.
In addition to that, the Ministry of Education would have worked with the University of Guyana to have about 150 new seats for medicine. So we are looking at creating that kind of. So it's not just virtual, but it's a platform that is both virtual. We have a virtual platform. It's a hybrid system, so yes. Physical and virtual.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, a follow up, sir. If every Guyanese can acquire a degree, at least a first degree, that will be excellent. And if the platform that allows them is the virtual platform and the physical platform, even better. But education, sir, is beyond just going to a classroom, virtually or physically, and
the expansion of UG's hybrid and regional model marks a significant shift in Guyana's higher education landscape as the government moves to widen access while maintaining academic quality amid unprecedented enrollment demand. Adana Doric, Guyana TV9 News.
On Thursday, the Civil Defense Commission CDC responded to reports of flooding in the Success Street and La Penitence areas following heavy rainfall. Rising water levels resulted in flooding of residential properties within the community. Preliminary assessments indicated that approximately 100 households were affected by floodwater. Residents experienced water intrusion into homes, resulting in disruption to their daily activities. The CDC promptly dispatched a response to the affected areas. The Civil Defense Commission continues to monitor the situation and provide assistance where necessary. One of two women charged in connection with a 345-pound ganja bust on the west coast of Berbice has been granted bail, while her co-accused remains behind bars. Shimei Bryan, 33, was on Thursday released on $500,000 bail when she appeared before Magistrate Tonia Hardy at the Fort Wellington Magistrates Court. However, 33-year-old Serafina Chetty was refused bail and remains on remand. Here is more from Colwyn Abrams.
The charges stem from a police interception on January 24, 2026, during which ranks reportedly discovered 345 pounds of cannabis in a vehicle along the West Coast Berbice corridor. Following the discovery, both women, Shimei Bryan, 33 years old, and Sarafina Chetty, 32 years old, were arrested and jointly charged with possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking, contrary to the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Act. Bryan was on Tuesday released on $500,000 bail when she appeared before Magistrate Tuana Hardy at the Fort Wellington Magistrates Court. However, Chetty was refused bail and remains on remand. They were previously arraigned and pleaded not guilty to the trafficking charge. During Thursday's bail hearing, attorney-at-law Bernard De Silva made separate applications for his clients. The court granted Bryan bail on the condition that she lodge all her travel documents and report every other Friday to the nearest police station in her area or residence. Chetty, however, was denied bail after the prosecution informed the court that she allegedly committed the current offense while already on bail for a similar pending matter. Magistrate cited that this is a significant factor in refusing her application. Chetty was dismissed from the Ghana Prison Service after being arrested in December 2022 for allegedly attempting to smuggle 500 to 600 grams of cannabis into the New Amsterdam prison. At the time of the latest 345-pound bust, she was already put on $100,000 bail for that pending 2022 narcotic case. The court also noted that the vehicle in which the narcotics were allegedly found was not registered to either of the accused. Additionally, the defense raised concerns that the prosecution had not yet made full disclosure of its case file and statements at this stage of the proceedings. It was further revealed that no trial date has yet been fixed. However, the matter is expected to proceed sometime in April or May once disclosures are completed. The case has been adjourned to March 26, 2026 for report and further disclosure as the court continues to manage the pretrial process. Meanwhile, Chetty remains on remand as the case moves forward. Colwyn Abrams, Ghana TV9 News.
After a week of intense competition and artistic brilliance, the curtains fell on Thursday on the dramatic poetry and calypso segments of the children's Mashramani finals being held at the National Cultural Center. The event, which featured the nation's top young calypsonians and poets, capped off a celebration of culture that spanned all 11 education districts and underscored the vital role of the arts in Guyanese education.
The students from all 11 education districts converged in Georgetown for the final showdown, bringing culture to life through calypso and dramatic poetry. In the 8 to 10 years dramatic poetry category, Amita Peters of Region 5's number 29 primary commanded the stage, taking first place with her moving piece, Hope of Silence. She was followed by Shakina Emerson of Regma Primary in second, and St. Angela's own Trevina Terrell, who secured third with the spirited Mashramani Nice. The energy remained high as the 11 to 13 years Calypso finalists delivered confident and patriotic performances that resonated with the audience. Tatiana Ben of Tutorial Academy Secondary in Region 6 emerged victorious with I Love My Country. Queen's College students Hanan Ramsroop, Shania James, Fola Cadogan, and Toffita Adams earned second place with Little Builders Big Tomorrow, while Stacey Mentis of Abraham Zoo's Secondary in Region 2 placed third with Our Country, Our Pride. In the 11 to 13 years category for dramatic poetry, first place went to Blessing Peters of 3 Mile Secondary, Region 7, for A Future Dismissed. Trinity Thomas of Mackenzie High, Region 10, placed second with A Word Spoken Over Guyana, while Amika Prasad of St. Rose's High, Georgetown, earned third place with her piece titled Lessons Beyond the Chalkboard. From colorful performances to proud trophy presentations, the finals showcased not only artistic talent, but also the confidence and cultural awareness of Guyana's young people. As the Children's Mashramani 2026 finals officially wraps up, the spirit of Mashramani shone brightly, a reminder that the future of Guyana's cultural traditions is in capable and talented hands. The Children's Mashramani competition officially became a Ministry of Education responsibility in 1992. It was designed to promote the expressive arts and foster national pride among students. The event is the peak of weeks of regional heats, where students from all 11 education districts earned their spot on the national stage at the National Cultural Center. This year, the competition is centered on the theme, Little Builders of One Guyana, Learning Together, Shaping Our Digital Tomorrow.
Turning now to regional news. Prime Minister Mia Mottley's Barbados Labour Party secured a sweeping victory at the polls. winning all 30 parliamentary seats and unseating opposition leader Ralph Thorne. The decisive outcomes reflects the Motley's strong national support and her growing international stature as one of the Caribbean's most prominent leaders. Throughout the campaign, she emphasized social justice and economic reform, pledging to uplift vulnerable communities. In her victory speech on election night, Motley reaffirmed her commitment to tackling poverty and inequality, declaring that her government's mission is to stop poor people from being poor and to remove injustice while creating greater opportunities for all citizens. Internationally, at least 21 people have drowned and several others remain missing after a passenger ferry sank in the Nile River in Sudan's northern River Nile state, according to civil defense officials. The tragedy unfolded in the war-ravaged nation, compounding the hardship already facing communities in the region. In a statement, the Sudanese Sovereignty Council confirmed the deaths of 31 victims, including women and children, and expressed condolences to the grieving families. Search and recovery efforts are ongoing as authorities work to determine the circumstances surrounding the sinking. Those are our major headlines for tonight's newscast. For more trending stories, follow us on our Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube platforms at GUI TV9. I am Adana Doric. Thank you for watching.